So please mute yourself and close your videos also. हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम टू द सुधांशु कुमार शो। सबसे पहले तो आज मैं आप सभी को बधाई देना चाहूंगा। गणपति बप्पा मोरया, हैप्पी गणेश चतुर्थी। इट इज अ वेरी स्पेशल डे। गणपति बप्पा हमारे पास है। और साथ ही साथ आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है अबाउट सीवी एंड इंटरव्यू स्किल्स, हमारे साथ हमारे दो डिग्निफाइड गेस्ट्स हैं जिनके बारे में आपने पोस्टर्स में तो पढ़ा ही होगा, एंड रियली आई एम फैन ऑफ बोथ ऑफ देम। सो लेट्स कॉल फर्स्ट आर फर्स्ट गेस्ट। तो पहले मैं इनके बारे में आपको कुछ बताना चाहूंगा। ही इज अ क्वालिफाइड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट and he is from Mumbai. Second thing which you should know and you want to know, I do know that he is a great public speaker. He is a great enthusiast. वो काफी तरह के financial trainings programs देते हैं. He has worked for EY, Grant Thornton and many other companies and having a 10 years experience in this field in USA. So now we have CA Digambar Pednegar sir. Sir, please let us see you and please unmute yourself. Good evening, sir.
Namaste everyone. Namaste everyone. Very warm. Good evening to all. Hope you all are doing great job.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Over to
Now,
Sudhanshu.
coming, thank you, sir. Now, coming forward to our next guest, Suresh Amara sir is from Hyderabad. He is one of the leading HRs in India. And frankly saying, you will love him because he love everyone. So, I like to welcome Suresh Amara sir. Sir, please unmute yourself and make yourself visible.
Very good evening to all. I hope everyone is doing great. Uh, Thanks, Sudhanshu, for inviting me for this show. I wish everyone gets what they are actually looking for through this live
Yes,
show.
sir.
Yeah.
तो अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. And the first step of this show, which I would love to have, कि मैं चाहूंगा कि हमारे जो गेस्ट्स हैं, हमारे जो व्यूअर्स हैं, वो भी जाने हमारे स्पीकर्स के बारे में, बिकॉज दे आर सो डिग्निफाइड. दे देमसेल्व्स आर अ मोटिवेशन. लोगों को मोटिवेट करने के लिए कहना पड़ता है, बोलना पड़ता है, बट द टू गेस्ट्स वी आर हैविंग टुडे, they both are self motivated and they both are self motivation to everyone, and I love to hear them. In fact, I am deeply motivated by both of them. So we will start with Suresh Amara sir. So we would like to hear something from you about
Uh,
yourself.
okay. Uh, what should I tell? Like, okay. So to just to simplify, like, I love to call myself as a people person. Okay. And I'm a people person, and I love to serve the society. I love to serve the people. That's where this show has attracted me, so that the young talent and the people who are looking for a job can get some tips, can take our guidance and all those stuff. Now coming back, coming to the profession, like I've been a HR professional. This is my 17th year as a HR. I've worked in corporate and started the HR function for many organizations in my career of 8.5 years. In the last 6.5 years, I've been a HR tech entrepreneur. So my purpose, I would say, like, is like serving the society and serving the people. And of late, I'm very deeply passionate and attracted towards artificial intelligence and technology. So my purpose is like leveraging technology to ease people's lives. That is what I could tell about myself.
Thank you, sir. That's great. And as always, I love to hear you.
Thank you.
So now moving forward to our second guest, CA Digambar Pednegar sir. Sir, I must tell you that when I got the opportunity to sit beside you, my heart was pumping at the speed of 280 kilometers per hour. And you have a dashing personality, which is overwhelmed with, or which has been, what I can say, I don't have words. You are looking so good again. So we
Thank you
just
so
want to
much.
know something about you, sir.
Thank you, Sudhanshu, and I'm really happy to see your show is gaining a lot of popularity back here in Mumbai. Everyone is talking about you, how at the early age you started picking up this public speaking skill, connecting with the people, and disseminating information of Indian culture or those skills which are prominent and required to each one of us. So very beautiful work, very beautiful. I'm really happy, Sudhanshu, and I'm really glad that today I got opportunity to come on your show and help a lot of people who are in need. So I feel so overwhelmed to be here on show. And talking about me, uh, I have a background of employer. In last 10 years, I must have taken interview more than 700-800, and each month I take more than 10-15 interview. Even during lockdown, I keep taking interviews for candidate. So here I can exactly help audience what should they look for and how do they prepare if they are preparing for the digital interview, because the today's era is completely changing. What we were looking out in one-on-one or face-to-face or in the sitting arrangement across the table is completely different. The expectation has changed dramatically. So today I'll help you out those three tools and techniques which if you apply them in your digital interview, the chances of you getting selected is very high, irrespective whether you have any experience, whether you have any relevant experience or not. Those tools and techniques I'll definitely help you. Stay tuned with us till the end. Towards the end, we will definitely give you those three key important secrets. Thank you so much, Sudhanshu. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. So now we will start with today's topic. So today's topic is CV and interview skills. नाउ सीवी के बारे में जब बात करते हैं तो जो कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स, जब मैंने ये टॉपिक अनाउंस किया था, मैंने स्टूडेंट्स कॉल्ड मी और उन्होंने कहा कि सर जो ये आप टॉपिक लेके आ रहे हो बहुत हेल्पफुल होगा, बिकॉज कॉलेज में हमें ये नहीं बताया जाता कि सीवी कैसे बनाए या सीवी में किन चीज़ों को डालना चाहिए. दे आर नॉट फेमिलियर विद इट. एंड द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, द इंटरव्यू स्किल्स, वो तो उन्हें बिल्कुल भी पता नहीं होता. लाइक दे आर जस्ट लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड व्हाट दे हैव लर्नड और व्हाट दे हैव हर्ड फ्रॉम अदर पीपल. किसी ने इंटरव्यू दिया, उसने अगर दो शब्द आके बताए, बस उतना ही जान रहे, वो इंटरव्यू के बारे में बहुत ज्यादा नहीं जानते. इवन इफ समवन इज सर्फिंग ऑन नेट, वो गूगल पे सर्च करके जो चीजें पता करते हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो कॉन्सोलिडेटेड बिकॉज एवरीथिंग हैज सम डिसएडवांटेज और एडवांटेज और स्पेसिफिकेशंस एज पर द सिचुएशंस. तो वो सिचुएशंस कैसे हैंडल करने हैं वो चीजें नहीं पता चलती. सो दिस topic is equally important to everyone and it is really very important. So that was the reason to choose this topic. So I will come with my first question, जो कि मुझे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स से मिले. उन्होंने मेरे से पूछा एंड दे वर आस्किंग कि सर आप बिल्कुल इस इवेंट में इस क्वेश्चन को उठाना, व्हाट इज द एप्रोप्रिएट फॉर्मेट ऑफ मेकिंग अ सीवी, व्हाट शुड बी एप्रोप्रिएट फॉर्मेट, व्हाट शुड बी द अलाइनमेंट. So I request Digambar sir to first answer over it.
Thank you, Sudhanshu ji. So the question itself answers the questions. Now the question is how to write appropriate CV. Now what does that word called CV? The CV should represent yourself. Now I have seen, even a fresher write CV, 2-3 long pages CV. They don't understand con- content is not important, but the important thing is the context. If you write a relevant contacts, it will help employer like us to choose a right CV. In a month, we get more than 200-300 CVs resume from different sources and from the different direction. We hardly spend less than 15 seconds to 60 seconds. If it is in a one page, then only we try to look, we spend more than 10-15 seconds. Otherwise we just ignore it and we move ahead. So in a 10-15 seconds we have to judge whether the CV is relevant for me or not. Now each one of you can imagine, if someone has to judge the CV on the basis of 10-15 of seconds, what is more relevant and what is not. So I always recommend students or recommend candidates that you write relevant things. Your CV should represent yourself. Now, what does that mean? I mean, Mr. Sureshji can help us out more than me telling you, but I'm just helping you out from the employer perspective. He is a renowned HR consultant. Probably he has a better aspect and he'll deep dive what are the different components. But I can tell you what exactly we look after. I have worked with internationally renowned consulting firm. So we know how, out of 50 CV, we shortlist one candidate. Now you can imagine how rigorous the process would be and what exactly we would look after. So the CV should represent you. It should have proper structure. Structure is very important. If you are fresher, don't worry about it. Write the relevant. See, sometimes you come across the job description, and job description matches with the kind of experience you have. But mark my word, each job is completely different. In today's world, no job is the same. No job will remain for another 10-20 years. What does that mean? See, today's world, technology is changing. The acts are changing, rules, regulations. Now the pandemic has changed everything. Now people used to data before giving job, to work from home. But today's culture is everyone is working from home under the internet surveillance system. So I must say your CV should be structured and it should create a brand for yourself. And as an employer, I can tell you that we see the potential within you, not what you have written and what kind of experience you have. Whether whether we assess whether the candidate is adaptable to the change or not, whether he has a capacity or not to accept the new challenges. My job might be different than what he has worked for, but I see the potential. So ensure or keep that in mind, that the kind of experience you have is not that relevant as your potential and the personal brand is. So try to create a personal brand while drafting the CV. So to close these questions, my answer would be your CV should create a personal brand. Your personal brand is a louder than your experience, the knowledge and the kind of degree you possess. So your CV should represent your personal brand. And that's the answer from my side. Over to Sudhanshu. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As you told that the CV should create your personal brand. It should explain the employer that who actually you are and what actually you possess. Now, on the same matter, I will love to hear from Suresh, sir, that if we are going for a CV. Suresh, sir.
Hello, Sureshji. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, First of all, I would like to thank CA Digambar sir about what he has said about CV format and all those stuff. Very rightly said by him is your CV should represent who you are, and CV is like a personal brand, right? And at the same time, he also mentioned in a nice way, like most of them spend not more than 10 to 15 seconds to skim through a CV, right? There is a survey conducted by SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management globally, and the average time any recruiter or a hiring manager spends on a CV to skim through the CV is 8 seconds. Can you imagine in 8 seconds you should leave a personal brand, right? It really doesn't matter in terms of how many pages your CV is. What matters is the structure. What matters is what is it conveying. Content is important, but a long content is not important, right? Content in right way, usage of appropriate words to showcase you, your skills, your experience, and your objective in life or objective in your career is very important, right? Now, if it is a fresher, I would prefer, I would actually suggest one pager CV. If it is experienced person, I would not prefer more than 3 pages, irrespective of the experience. And I'm telling you this not in terms of the HR, but I'm also a executive coach, and even today, I'm doing coaching for 3 executives who are aspiring for the leadership positions, where I do personally prepare their CVs. Okay, and I come up with a guy with 8 pages of CV with 20 years experience. I made that into 3 pages, and he's much more happy about it. Okay, so content is important. It's not about the quantity of content, it's all about the quality of content, right? Quality is more important. See, and as far as the structure and format is concerned, there is no universal template for it. There is no universal format for it. Everyone has their unique way of presenting themselves, right? You see, it's like a trailer. Before a movie releases, a trailer comes, right? Right? A trailer. Your CV is like a trailer. It gives a glimpse of what you are. In the interview is what a lot of things happen. A lot of things are shared about you, right? So my say is like, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I would say like your CV is like a personal brand. Represent yourself in a way where it is getting shortlisted. Now the very difficult thing is today most of the companies are using automated systems for recruitment. That's called applicant tracking systems like Taleo, Workday, Workable. A lot of things are there. So what is that you have to, if you have to cross through this ATS, your CVs also should be compatible with the ATS, right? So what I would suggest is like format it in a way, where it is getting compatible with the ATS and also conveying the message about you and your personal brand to the employer, right? Now, if you get deep into the structure thing, there is no universal structure of it. But what I would prefer is like, start with your career summary for an experienced person. Let me divide this into 2 things. One is for fresher and second one is for experienced one, right? If it is for experienced professional, start with your career summary and don't I don't prefer to see career objectives in the CVs because that is not so important. Career objectives are not so important. Start summarizing your career. Start summarizing your career in bulletin points, and then go with your technical skills. What are your soft skills? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Your academics, certifications, and then you qualify, your academic certifications, and then you can talk about your work experience. Divide your work experience into what are your KRS, key responsible areas, and then achievements, right? And I think anyone with even 20 years, 25 years experience professional can sum up their CV in 3 pages. If someone is writing a long content, people will lose interest, and there are high chances of losing the interest by the recruiter. Now, coming back to a fresher or a 2 years or 3 years experience guy, I would still prefer, one pager. Start with your career summary, or summarizing your qualifications and your internship experiences. What's good in today's corporate environment is, or in education system, is a lot of transformation is happening in education system, and most of the youngsters are doing internships, right? Whether you say MBA or MCA or BTech or BE or anything for that matter, a lot of people are, a lot of education institutions are encouraging to do internship right from semester one or year one itself, which is a very good thing now. This is a place where you can acquire a lot of knowledge about the corporate knowledge, expand your skill set in terms of your career objective and all your stuff. So if it's a fresher, right, start with a one-liner or a two-liner in terms of your career summary, and then write your what are your technical skill set, and then your what are your soft skills like communication skills, presentation skills, and then influential skills and all those things, and then start about your interest in the sense like your hobbies. Write something which are relevant to the job and the career. I would always prefer to see some interest in hobbies, which are increasing your professional capacity and all those stuff, increasing your horizon of profession as a professional. Okay, and then your qualifications, and then you can write about your internship experiences and all those stuff. Yeah, I think, and at the same time, very important is formatting your CV is very important. Choosing a font is very important. There are some universal formats or fonts like Times New Roman is there, Calibri is there, Verdana is there. These are some universally accepted fonts, and the font size need not be more than 11 or 12. And for headings, you'll have to choose a different font and different font size. And for colors and all those stuff, the universal accepted colors are black is there, blue is there, and then gray is there. So use some universally accepted font sizes and the formats and all those stuff, which makes your personal brand really conveying to the recruiter. Yeah,
Okay, sir.
I think these are the points which goes into preparing a CV.
Okay, sir. That's really great. Like, I do believe that the format and the presentation does really matters in making the CV, and that will create your personal brand, as Digambar sir said. So it is really interconnected and really valuable for everyone who is going forward to prepare a CV. Now, there were some questions, like when someone is preparing the CV, suppose he is having a proper format or he is making a proper format, but he is having some gaps in his roles, like suppose in education or suppose in job. So he's having some gaps. Like there are many students due to personal reason or financial reasons or economical reasons, they are having some gaps in their profession or in their education. So how to deal with it? I would like to know from Digambar sir. So you are mute. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Sudhanshu. This is really interesting questions, and I come across this situation quite often. Quite often meaning 5 out of 10 CVs comes with the gap, either in the education or in the work experience. I always tell them when I experience candidate by their gesture, movement, the way they talk, or small signs they show. When I see them uncomfortable, I tell them, stay positive, be comfortable, and do not lie. So my answer to this question is, you should stay confident throughout the interview. Doesn't matter what is the gap between the two jobs or your academics. Be clear, be prepared. Prepare your answer. Why there was a gap? Why couldn't you finish the work? Why there was a problem in continuing the education or the job? Be positive, answer, prepare your answer, and then speak confidently. And I'll tell you one thing. See, having a gap in your experience is really very bad mark. I am again repeating, as an employer, having a gap in your job or in academics is a very bad mark. But lack of confidence is the end of the lane. So lack of the confidence, it's the end of the lane. There is no scope for those who don't have a confidence. So that's my answer. It really doesn't matter. What matters is how confident you are. It's like a swimming. You must have learned swimming in your childhood, but given an opportunity in one or second stroke, you will be able to again swim back even after 10 years. Would you agree to this or not? I'm sure
Yes.
everyone would agree. So that's my answer. Stay confident. Your confidence should be louder than your gaps. So that's my answer. Thanks, Sudhanshu. Over to you.
So, of course, confidence is key to success, and it is really important if you are having some gaps in your career or in your education due to some relevant issues. Then your confidence will explain it to the employer, to the interviewer. So that is really relevant. Moving forward, I have again a similar type of question with Suresh sir. So sometimes there are people who questions like they are having very short roles, like somewhere they went for a job for 6 months or 3 months, 4 months, and they have left the jobs, or they have less work experience. They don't have a very good work experience, so they are afraid of it. So how to deal with it? How to represent it in the CV?
Okay. No, no. So what I understand is like there are a few set of people who work short spans in companies for some time like that, right? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
yeah? Okay. So uh, what I see is that there are two ways of seeing it. It depends upon the employer. Okay, there are employers who see stability, and there are employees who see just experience. Okay, to me, both are important. Stability is important. At the same time, having a right experience is important. On top of it, what is important is a right mindset. A positive mindset is very important. Now, I've come across various people in my career, where people have spent only 1 year in each job, 10 years they spent 10 companies and all those stuff. Is it wrong? No, it is not. And there are people who have spent all 10 years in one company. Is it wrong? No, it isn't. It is not wrong or it is not right. Okay. So it depends upon the individual person and the personal objectives of people. There are people who are always striving, and there are people who are like striving, but they're very happy with their job and they want to go very slow track and all those stuff. And there are people who want to have a very fast track. So what matters is, as CA Digambar sir said, like, confidence is very important. Now, it really doesn't matter whether you do a short stint of 3 months or a long stint of 3 years or 10 years and all those stuff. How do you portray in interview is very important, right? You know, uh, Coming back on my own experience, my average years of experience in a company is 1.5 years. Okay, so and I worked in some 7 companies. Out of last 17 years, my 7 companies. So if someone can tell, like, you don't have a stability and all those stuff, but what matters was how did I portray myself in the interviews and all this stuff, right? So that is more important. The confidence levels are more important in it. Now, whether you do a 6 months short stint or a 6 year short stint, what was there a learning, and is there a right reason for quitting the job in 6 months? There might be people. I'll tell you a very example which I've read very recently. There was there was a girl who was aspiring to join Google. Okay, that was her lifetime goal, and every one of us know like Google is the best employer and best known for the culture and all this stuff. But she quit the job in less than 6 months. Why is that? She says culture is not great. The reason for if I have to really dig through it, the reason I would say is her personal objectives or her career objectives are not matching with the company, and that is the reason there is a cultural misfit. Okay, what she says is I want to grow very slow, but whereas in Google everything is very fast track. So that's a cultural misfit is there. So is it quitting Google in 6 months is wrong? No, it is not. Right? Now, is there anything wrong from Google? No, that is the company culture. Everyone wants to move ahead very fast and very fast track. Right? What is more important is whether it is a short term or a long term, is it matching to your career objective? Career objective is not just about going ahead in terms of compensation, going ahead in terms of hierarchy and all that stuff. There are a lot of things in career. One is learning, moving ahead in hierarchy, moving ahead in compensation, moving ahead in society, and various things are there, right? So, to just to sum up, irrespective of this short stint, have a very confident answer of why did you leave the job in 6 months, or why did you work short assignments which are in short term and all those stuff. So be confident about it, and link it with your career objectives. Yeah, over to you, Sudhanshu.
Yes, sir. So that's really beautifully explained, and I do agree that if someone is changing the jobs or switching the jobs, it could be her desire or his desire to expand herself or in the career prospects to move ahead. Coming forward from this point, I have something different maybe, but I have a point which comes in the mind of many students. And someone also asked me someday, sorry, that what is important to move forward very quickly. Like if someone wants success very fast, very quickly, what is really very important? Versatility or stability? Digambar sir, please.
Sudhanshuji, you ask really tricky questions, and everyone is craving, dying for quick growth and quick, career path. Everyone is craving for that. So if you are thinking that you want, or somebody, in the audience thinking that they want to have a quick path, then they are not alone. Even I am with them. I have different goal, but I want to achieve them very quickly. But there is no binary answer to this. There is no yes or there is no to this question. It is very much doable, but you need to understand the science behind it. There is a science. If you really want to grow, you know that science and technique. How many of you have experienced that you are doing very great job, and the person sitting next to you who is completely dumb and slow, still he gets a good promotion, good pay grades, and he actually, fasten up, or he goes up the ladder very quickly? How many of you believe? I'm sure many of you could have experienced that dull, dumb, and slow moving person sometimes comes out of the curve, and they grow very fast. So what are those tools and techniques? I'll tell you very shortly. See, in today's globalized economy, things are moving very fast. Technology is changing very fast. So in our earlier days, a long back, our parents used to have a lifelong job with one employer. But this is not today's case. And study shows that 10 years down the line, the average life of the employee would be 4 to 5 years. And I'm sure Suresh Sarji into this profession and they can conquer what I'm going to say next. But the average life of you see people around you, the professional like chartered accountant, technology, expert, you see their lifespan in one job, hardly 4 to 5 years. They get 2, 3 promotion and quickly jump off. So that should be a strategy number one. When you try to hop on to new job, you should have a complete strategy. How long you are going to be with with this employer. The second is, it's a free agent job, not a lifelong job. You have to think that, okay, I have to be here, I have to be in this job for certain position or for certain role, whatever your goal would be, and accordingly have your strategy. And the last thing I would say is, think from the employer perspective. If you add value to his life, if you really add value to his life, doesn't matter what experience you have, doesn't matter if you have difficulty in your communication, it really surpasses all the levels and you get into the another level. So get into a value creation cycle of the employer and then understand what are those activities really matters to the employer for his success. If he is happy, then he will keep you happy. So rather than focusing on what you know about that job, you need to focus on what employer is looking out for. If you know those 2, 3 secrets of the employer, it will really take you faster to your goal. I think I have answered this question. You keep the employer happy, whichever way. Of course, it should be ethical. It should not be manipulative. But keep your employer happy with your skill, and you will be up on the ladder. Thank you, Sudhanshu. Over to you.
Yes, sir. Surely it means versatility plus stability plus work addition, value addition. So it's really very important that to be versatile, be stable, and give some value addition so that employer should be happy in an ethical manner. So in the same manner, with the same prospect, I have another question. Suresh, sir, that if someone is, as I told, that everyone is looking forward to move fast ahead, to conquer everything in a very minimum, very less span of time. So many people are looking for changing of careers also. Like we are hearing commonly that someone is in the engineering line, then they move to the management line, then they move to the chartered accountancy also. I've seen many people. So they are moving ahead, they are changing their career. Someone comes from goes from chartered accountancy to IT, someone goes from IT to chartered accountancy or other sectors. So is it relevant to change the career for fast growth? And if yes or no, this is the answer, sorry, whatever it is. But and the second part, if someone is changing its career, so how to represent it in the CV so it would not give a manipulative effect on the CV? What do you, sir?
Okay. Sudhanshu, this is a very relevant question in the present scenario in the present years. Now, let me start with this, which I've studied very recently on a research paper, stating like 10 years down the lane, your qualifications will really doesn't matter. You know, your skills are the one which is matters, right? Your qualification, long time back, at least when we were studying, memory is what is very important. Memorizing the textbook and writing it in the exam paper, getting marks is very important. And today it is not like that. right? You know, irrespective of the career moves, what I would suggest to the youngsters is like, understand what is your purpose in life. I've seen many people who has done medicine and then completed their chartered accountancy. And the reason why they took medicine is like because that girl was forced to complete medicine because both of her parents were doctors. And after completing MBBS, she realized that's not her cake, and she was very good in numbers. And then she started pursuing chartered accountancy, and she cleared all whether it is CA inter or CA final in one attempt. So start understanding, and today a lot of youngsters, whenever I talk and whenever I go and speak and have an interaction in the management institutions and all this stuff, the one question which I ask is, why did you choose MCA, or why did you choose MBA, or why did you choose BTech or B? The obvious, most of them would have answered is like, my dad wanted me to do chartered accountancy, or my dad wanted me to do this one, or my parents are into business. So it's a live platform I have. I can complete my MBA and start doing the business and all this stuff. That's not the case. What I would always say is, before choosing any career, first understand what is your purpose of life. What do you want to become next 10 years? And during that, like even after choosing, because of various reasons, you choose a career in technology and then move into HR and all this. So I've seen a classic person who's a public speaker now. 10 years he spent in technology in embedded systems, and then he realized he's a people person and then moved to HR, and now he's a renowned public speaker. He does a lot of courses on public speaking. He does a lot of courses on change management and all those stuff. So that is his purpose. That is his purpose, and he's pretty happy. He might be drawing lakhs and crores of rupees in technology. He would have drawn crores of rupees in technology, but what makes him happy is public speaking. What makes him happy is to serve the people. And then he chose the career, and he identified that this is where I'm very happy about it, and he's very happy about it. He might not be drawing crores of money, but he's pretty happy about what he does. And now coming back to how to represent that in a CV. So whatever you represent in CV, be confident about it, and don't be manipulative, or don't try to justify the things. What really matters is in the interview is one, your confidence, and two is your integrity and honesty. Be honest about your answers. Be honest about your career choices. Be honest about your employers. Be honest about your career skill set and all this stuff. Like Digambar sir said, like we meet a lot of people. We meet a lot of people, and in the first 5 minutes itself, we would be able to guess through the body language whether the person is lying or not lying. Right? What is very important, irrespective of whatever is the content is going in the CV, is whether it is changing a career prospect or changing the career from technology to HR, HR to technology, or HR to chartered accountancy, whatever it is. So be confident about your choices, and don't try to justify anything, because once you start justifying, you'll continue justifying for lifelong. You don't have to justify, because it is your career, it is your life, right? Yeah, over to you, Sudhanshu. I think I'm
Yes,
taking a
sir.
long time answering, but I thought,
No, sir.
yeah,
Your points are really relevant. And I do believe, I also do say it every time, that your purpose of life is very important. Everyone wants a happy life. Everyone desires for a happy life, but the actual thing is they want a purposeful life. No one is actually working for a happy life. They are working for a purposeful life. So what purpose you are going for will make your life happy and stabilize yourself in your future. So that is really very important and very well explained by Suresh sir. So moving forward, now one thing, as Digambar sir, you told that confidence is really very important when you are going for an interview. So in the same manner, what can be the additions to the confidence? Like if someone is going for an interview, what should be his gesture or attire, his dressing sense, and does it gives addition to the confidence?
Yes, Sudhanshu. Yes. Your attire, the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, it really add values to your confidence. As Sureshji rightly mentioned, first 15 minutes gives you, the representation of yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you are dressed, the way you sit, the way even sometimes if I had to hire somebody at higher level, at a VP or associate vice president level, I even see their shoes, whether their shoes are polished or not. So it's really important how you carry yourself. But answering these questions, now the pandemic has completely changed the perspective. The way you carry yourself on Skype, or a higher value, or a lot of algorithm based applications is completely different. But in one-on-one session, you need to carry yourself. You need to, the color of your clothes, tie, your hair should be properly groomed, and you should carry yourself according to job. If you are appearing for a professional job like chartered accountant, or uh, cost accountant, or company secretary, you should be formal. You should wear formal, or ideally you should wear a jacket and tie. If you are applying for job role of a lawyer, you should carry a similar attire which a lawyer would carry. If you are an artist, carry yourself as an artist. So there is no universal answer how the attire should look like, but your attire should resemble with the kind of role you're going to get into it. So this is very important. You should go very clean. Sometimes I have seen people carry a perfume or cologne too high, as if they are going for Friday night party. This is so unnecessary. Have everything at a light note. Don't have a excessive makeup, and just be relaxed, be yourself. Go as if you'll be carrying yourself in the same manner while working on the job field. So this is the answer I would give in a short and brief manner. The attire should be sober, formal, and it should be relevant to your job. Thank you, Suransh. Over to you.
Okay, sir. So the attire adds or gives value addition to your personality and makes yourself visible to the employer actually, because your attire makes you a personal brand. So moving forward, as the attire makes the personal branding or adds to the confidence, in the other part, what is the role of the language? Sorry, sir. What is the role of language? Like many times, or many people are not comfortable with some particular language. Like many people are not comfortable with English, or many people are not comfortable with the regional language if they are asking for. If someone is like that, but the basic question is about English only, because India is today also the second largest English speaking country, but still we have number of people and number of job seekers who are not able to communicate in English. So what would be your suggestions for them, Suresh sir?
Okay. So my answer is very simple. Okay. First and foremost is, you know, interview is all about you. Okay, interview is all about being yourself. Now, if you're not comfortable in speaking any language, maybe English or any regional language and all those stuff, like, check with the interviewer whether if he or she is comfortable if you are communicating in non-formal language like English. right? Whether if the interviewee can talk in his local language, if the interviewer can understand the local language and all this stuff. What really matters as an interviewer for me is making the candidate very comfortable in a place where she comes out of uh, uh, what I see is in interviews making the candidate very comfortable so that she be himself or herself, and then create an environment where he's very comfortable or she is very comfortable in talking and expressing himself or herself. So, and there might be some jobs where English is mandate. So what someone has to do is start reading magazines, start working towards improving his or her English language skills and all those stuff. See, why English is still predominant, but if you see in any of the companies, whether it is in Telangana or Andhra Pradesh or Mumbai or Delhi, still once you join there, most of the people are very comfortable talking in their local language, right? So they still communicate on a daily basis. They still communicate in the local language, right? So the answer in a brief is like be confident, and then like if you're not comfortable in talking in English, which is the formal language, check with the interviewer in terms of whether she can talk in his local language, and the interviewer can understand and interpret and can. If not, even before the interview itself, like you have a choice to ask with the recruiter about whether she is comfortable talking in his local language or not. So check with the recruiter itself about it before going to the hiring manager or technical rounds. That would do, because what I look at in an interview is like whether the candidate is representing himself or herself properly, irrespective of the language. Because
Okay, sir.
while English is important, I would say it is important to make the candidate comfortable and get the answers out of him or her. Yeah, over to you, Sudhanshu.
Oh, okay, sir. So that's really beautiful. That what makes you comfortable is really important. And yes, in the second scenario, what is the requirement of job is really important, because if you are not fulfilling the requirement, it's vague to talk about whether you are comfortable or not. So that's really well explained. Now, as we are moving ahead and we are coming to the end of the event, so now we are coming with our last question, and with the very important and the most important question, I will say that how to go for a digital interview. And this is the most important question in this pandemic, as explained by Digambar sir in the starting of the event only. So I would request Digambar sir first to take over the question. Sir, please.
Thank you, Sudhanshu. I get a feeling of you are squeezing all the important question. You have not left a single question unanswered. From today's challenges and today's perspective, you are really helping your audience to get all the answer. All the answer. Huh? Really talented, really smart you are, Sudhanshu. I must say. You
Thank you,
almost
sir.
asked all the corners from all the different boundaries and different direction. Very good, very excellent job. And as I said in the beginning of the section, I'll give you three important tips, and everyone is aware of these tips, but I am re-emphasizing this. There are three things. Let's start with the first one. Next two are also important. The first thing is digital handshake. Now, in the pandemic, we are not allowed to have a handshake, but in digital world, we call it as a digital handshake. Now, what does that mean? I cannot come through the mobile or the device and shake, have a handshake, but we call it as a handshake, a digital handshake. And very beautifully explained by renowned author. He said, Your first 10-15 seconds gives the correct gesture of your handshake. Now what is that first 10-15 seconds? The first 10-15 seconds is equal to your digital handshake. It includes the way you carry, the way you enter, the way you sit, the kind of arrangement you have, whether your room is properly lit or not, whether there is something in the background or not. Whether there is a noise or somebody, your pet or kids or neighbors or somebody is hanging around behind you or not. This digital interview is all about you. The interviewer should focus on you, not at the background. Moment he look at the background or start focusing at the background, he loses the focus of, or he might lose the something important which you are trying to explain. So it's very important, carry yourself, don't have excessive makeup, be clean and gentle in front of your interview. And the most important thing which everybody miss while giving the interview is they don't look at the camera. It's so unlike in a one-on-one interview. They don't look at the camera, they look here, they look there, and interview feels that as if he's talking to the screen. Don't make him feel as if he's talking to the screen. Give him yes, no, at least give a head shake and look at the camera so that he can also see you are looking into his eyes. Hope everybody is agreeing to this technique called digital handshake. Have a good smile, look at the camera and say good afternoon, good evening, so that the interviewer can feel okay, he's looking into my eyes and giving me a welcome remarks. That's the first thing. Second thing is have a proper presentation, have a proper practice. What is the job all about? What is this company all about? At least spend 15 to 20 minutes studying about the company. Have entire, so for this session, Sudhanshu called me 1 year before and requested me, could you please check the demo session whether everything is working or not. This is a good sign. He's ensuring his technology, the mobile, the battery, the internet, everything is fine. He asked me question, sir, is there any network issue? I said no. My speed, I have a 50 Mbps speed and everything is fine. So this kind of preparation is very important when you are preparing for digital interview. Even if you have a great skill, you are the only candidate left on this earth. But if you don't have a preparation, if you don't have a technology support, nobody would be able to understand what kind of skill set you have. And the third thing is have a proper body language. Even you cannot show the entire body of yourself, even if you are showing a half, the certain portion of your body, but have a right body language, a clean body language. Sometimes I've bringing back attention to your previous questions, the language. I believe as an interviewer, language is just the medium of exchanging information. But your gesture, your words, your body language is louder than your language. So the body language is very important. So these are the three techniques, tools you should keep in mind if you are appearing for the digital interview. Number one, digital handshake, first 10-15 seconds. Second, the presentation and the prepare and the readiness. And the third one is body language. Follow this and I'm sure each one of you will have great results. Thank you so much, Sudhanshu. Over to you.
Yes, of course, as you told, I also now believe that Corona has given another opportunity to learn something more, of course, through these digital platforms. Now, moving forward, I have the same question to Suresh sir also. Like, so please elaborate in the HR manner, like, what are the necessities or necessaries which is required for a digital interview? Over to you, sir.
Okay. So, just to start, interview is an interview, whether it is in person or digital. Okay. So, carrying yourself in a positive way is very important. As Digambar sir said, the first 15 seconds in the digital interview is very important, right? So having a proper background, ensuring the technology is up and continuing, and also checking if there are any power cuts scheduled, if there is any alternative in terms of what if the router goes off, or what if the internet goes off in your thing, in your area or locality. All these are very important, and having a proper body language is very important, you know, smiling to the interviewer, having a one-on-one contact, eye contact with the interviewer, replying back in terms of okay or yes or yeah, and use some positive words, sure, and then like, great, and then appreciate, and all these stuffs are very positive words. Start using the positive words in responding back to the interviewer, so I think like these are very important, and for the audience, I can share the link of one of my article in terms of tips to ace video interviews and all those stuff. I will share it with you, Sudhanshu, and you can actually share it with the audience, and my articles are live on uh, LinkedIn, so they can get a elaborate, and this will be a ready reference for them. Yeah. So to sum up, one, check with your technology, check with your body language, check with your language skills and all those stuff, and all these three are important in digital interview. Yeah, and very important is like today we have so many advanced skills where you can change the background of the screen and all those stuff, right? And there are some tools where you can change the background and all those stuff. One second, just give me a second.
Okay, so no issue, Suresh Amara sir will be back in a minute.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm back. My time, I've given until 8:10 with my kids, so they are already popping up now. It's daytime now. Anyways, so just to sum up, like one, the first 15 seconds are very important. The digital handshake, as CA Digambar sir said, setting your background, checking your technology is working, checking your audio video quality, and then you are maintaining a eye contact with the interviewer, and then answering the interviewer. All these are important in the digital interviews.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Over to you, Sudhanshu.
That's really beautifully explained, sir. So that's all of our event. But I will say a word to everyone who is watching this video, this event. That's one quotation is in Bhagavad Gita, one shloka is in Bhagavad Gita, and it elaborates that it says that where there is a will, there is a way. And it is well explained by Albert Einstein that E is equal to mc square means energy is interchangeable into mass. So if there is a will, if there is energy in your mind, you want to create something, there is a way because energy is interchangeable into mass. So interview is your first step, CV is your first step to move ahead. We have dignified people who are here to guide you like Digambar sir, Suresh sir, and of course you will be helped in on every platform. Don't be afraid if you are not selected for an interview. Don't be demoralized or don't lose your confidence. Everyone is with you. So that's all from my side. And I just want to listen few last words before leaving this show from Digambar sir.
Uh, I beg your pardon. I missed the last sentence. What did you say?
Yeah. I said, sir, before leaving the event, I just want to hear two words from you. I would
No,
love to hear two
Sudhanshu.
words from you.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I feel so overwhelmed. You are doing too much for the society. You are doing too much for, entire fraternity. You are representing our fraternity. I'm really very happy. And today you picked a very good topic, that digital interview, digital. Nowadays, I'm seeing couple of CVs comes in, video format, comes in a flyers, comes in a, short 1 minute video. And quite interesting to see, how the social media is, taking over the traditional, conventional, the interview process. So I am not sure whether, Sudhanshu, this is the right platform to give this offer or not. I have a friend of mine who are into social media, and he's offering a social media course worth of 10,000 rupees, absolutely free. Absolutely free, 6 days long. You get a mastery of Facebook, Canva, or social media, which will help you to, make your Facebook or social media profile, LinkedIn profile, and how to make up, flyers or resume for yourself. If you guys are interested, I'll share the link with Sudhanshu. It's absolutely free, worth of 10,000 rupees. A 6-day course. Have enjoyed. Yeah, thank you so much. You are giving too much to our audience, Sudhanshu. I'm really happy to see you growing in this way, and looking forward to be associated with you in the near future as well. And thank you, Surajji, for giving a lot of insight, and your tips and tools are really helpful me, and I'll keep that in mind while taking the interviews the next time. Yeah. And
Thank you so
definitely I'll
much.
go to your I'll go to your blog, and I'll also, search on the kind of studies and article you write. Thank you so much for sharing a link of your
Yeah,
blogs, Surajji. Thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now, Suresh, sir, we'd love to hear two words from you before leaving the event. Please, sir.
Okay. So first thing, Sudhanshu, as C.A. Digambar sir said, like you are doing a wonderful job. Okay, at a very young age, you are representing the today's youth, and you are picking up the right issues or right topics, I would say, which are enlightening, which are giving lot of uh, experiences, or which are giving a lot of knowledge to the audience. Okay. You're doing a wonderful job, and keep doing this kind of wonderful job. I'm sure you will be in much greater positions and highest positions in the world. Okay. And next is C.A. Digambar sir. I'm very happy to get introduced, and to get introduced to you in through this platform. Very thanks to Sudhanshu, and really awesome the way you shared the tips and the tools and the techniques. You know, one thing which I learned today is about the digital handshake. Maybe I did not have that jargon, but I picked up that jargon, and as you rightly summed up in one of the question, representing yourself is very important in interviews. Being yourself is very important in interviews, right? So I think while I'm sharing my experience and knowledge, I've got a lot of knowledge and wisdom from this talk. I think I'm very thanks for C.A. Digambar sir to be sharing his knowledge and his experiences through this platform. And one last thing for the audience is like we are going through a pandemic, okay, and we are going through very uncertain times, and these are not, expected by many of us, and there might be many failures coming in while attending interviews. Okay, what is more important is be confident about yourself. You know, expect the unexpected. Very important is expecting the unexpected is very important. So be confident, don't lose hope, keep striving, keep working hard, keep researching, and then go ahead. For me, failure is not a deterrent, and success is not a destination. Just a part of our journey, right? What's more important is when you have a failure, just like understand where have been the mistakes, understand where have we gone wrong, prepare, and then get the success. That's more important. Yeah. So I think like thanks. Just to sum up, thanks to Sudhanshu, thanks to CA Digambar sir, and many thanks to all the audiences. Who has taken their valuable time. Sunday evening is very special for everyone because these are the times where people and families come together and spend a lot of times, especially when Ganesh Papa, Ganesh Chaturthi and Papa is in our house. So very thanks to all of you. Over to you, Sudhanshu.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. I'm really privileged to have you both here. And I think my platform has been dignified with two great personalities. So that's all with our event. And with going and with closing the event, I would say that my last words as Ganpati Bappa Moria.
Moria, Ganpati Bappa Moria.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.